Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG, and today we have a special video. With me today, I have my brother and co-host, Michael, down there at the bottom, and then we have the one, the only, the man of the hour, Giancarlo. How you doing, my guy?
Hey man, good. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to talk about Fusion World and, you know, whatever else we're going to talk about.
Hell yeah, man. But basically, you just got back from Battle Hour in LA. This is the second Battle Hour, correct? Like this is the second.
Technically, it's the third. So there was one during COVID, and nobody remembers it because it was webcam only. So like Brian Samuel actually won the very first Battle Hour. Shout out to him. But no one remembers because it was during COVID, and like we all just forgot about it. This is the second in-person Battle Hour.
Okay. Fantastic. And you did go to participate in both the Dragonball Masters Nationals and Fusion World, the first ever Fusion World tournament, right?
So, okay, I didn't intend to play Masters. I signed up because like I did have an invite. So I signed up, and I had not, it's going to sound like I'm making excuses, but I had not read a single new card. I had not played a single game since the Orlando Regional where I played Pan. And I made a bunch of misplays on stream. That's my fault because I didn't play test Pan either, so that's my bad. And I just got so like, I don't know if the word is disheartened, but I got so like I just didn't want to play Masters anymore after that regional. So I just didn't. And then literally the first time I played Masters since that Orlando Regional was in the hotel room the day before Nationals.
Oh geez.
Yeah, so literally, shout out to Matt Sublet who got top 8. Yeah, everyone knows that's my buddy, and he's the one who taught me how to play against U7. I ended up playing Red Jiren because my buddy Armando handed me the deck. He said, "You know what Jiren cards do, right?" And I said, "I think I remember." He goes, "Okay, here, play this Jiren deck." And Sublet is teaching me how to play against U7. He's teaching me what all the U7 cards do, and the whole time I'm like, "Holy shit, this deck is so good!" I was like, I was on 2 energy and he killed me one game, and I was like, bro, this deck is crazy. I'm like, U7 is nuts. Oh yeah. But also Jiren is also very strong. I mean, I don't think I was prepared well. Like I said, I didn't play at all. So I wasn't personally prepared to do well with it. But I mean, that deck is crazy.
No, absolutely. I know Mike has some friends that were also in the Nationals tournament for Masters who did end up doing pretty well. But yeah, Mike, Dane went up against the guy who actually won the whole tournament, right?
Yeah, he went up against Legends. So we had like 9 guys go from Minnesota. Dane was our best. He lost in top 16 to Legends in the Android 21 mirror, which like, dude, Dane's luck the final like 2-3 rounds of Swiss in terms of his opponents, and then getting Legends in the first round of Top Cut was so rough. But like, that's just what you got to do if you want to win. Couple guys did fine. I think our guy Matt was on Red Androids and got 33rd, and then Javier, who won the Wisconsin Regional early last year, got 31st with Green Gohan. Probably he's kind of been only playing that deck, and then everyone else did fine. I think there was a 45th and stuff like that. So overall, it's like a locals here. We did good. I didn't get to go. Obviously, I recently had my daughter in November, so life just wasn't working out that way.
Yeah.
It was good, man. A huge case of FOMO being back here talking to everybody. I had a buddy, luckily, able to get me a Fusion World starter, Green Broly deck, brought it back. I got at least 1 gold marker, energy marker, so like I feel like I was there. I got some stuff out of it, but it sounded like a cool event, except like Bandai, made some mistakes apparently with One Piece apparently sounded rough, and obviously Fusion World and the line and everything was a little rough according to those who were in attendance, but it could have been a lot worse, and it does sound like people had fun and had a good time, and obviously Giancarlo here had a good time, won some things, and it's not bad.
There you go. Well, Giancarlo, a question for you. So there is this, what's the right word? There's this kind of vibe going on right now with Masters. Everyone who basically, when Fusion World was first announced last year, everyone was just jumping ship. Everyone was like trying to mass sell off their collections. They're like, oh, well, this game's dead. They're rebooting it.
Yeah, this is the first. I had a very impressive Masters collection. I sold it all for like 50%. I don't regret it. Masters is dead. Whether it's dead today or dead next, I don't care, bro. Like, it sounds like no. Fusion World's the future. One Piece is the future. All these other bands. I can't speak for. So Digimon, I want to say had like 1,100 players for their nationals.
Oh wow.
Like, they're going very strong. So Digimon is strong. One Piece had 1,700 or 1,900. I don't remember. Masters having, I think we had 400, which that's actually very strong. But that's the biggest tournament we've had all year. I mean, no, this shit is dead, bro. Like, whether it's dead today or it's dead in a year, dude, they should cancel Battle Spirits. They should cancel Masters. They should focus more on the games that are doing well. They're probably not going to, but that's what they should do.
Oh no, absolutely. What I was going to ask is, yeah, that environment of Masters, you know, obviously being what the game that is currently on death's door at the moment, but like in comparison, yeah, to One Piece and Fusion World and Digimon apparently now. I was going to ask, like, how was, you know, the energy around the Masters tournament? You know, did everyone seem like super happy, super, you know, just or were they just very monotone, like, we're here, we're playing Masters?
I don't know. I feel like we kept making the same joke of like, well, there's always next year, when it's because it's like, you know, oh, I didn't top this Nats. Well, there's always next year, and the joke is like, there probably isn't. Like, there's probably no next. The thing is that, like, at the end of the day, like, if you're still playing Masters, right? Like, there are people who started playing in set 1 that I met, like Jordan Markle, for example. I met Jordan Markle at a regional during set 2, and 2 days ago we were talking, and this is like a 16, 17. Like, this is was that 7 years later that we're still playing it. Like, I've known this guy for almost 10 years now. I feel like I just met him. That's crazy, but it's like, if I really think about it, if you're there, it's because you love the game. There's no doubt. I really do love Masters. It'll always be like a very special memory for me. But I'm just, it's when it's time to move on for you and whoever's watching. Like, if you want to keep playing and you enjoy the game very well, that's perfect. I would love for you to keep playing. I don't. I'm ready to move on. I was sad about it. I was sad. I mean, I really was sad about Masters in the decline. But, you know, it is what it is. It's really, you know, Fusion World's really good. Luckily, if Fusion World was terrible, I'd be angry. But like, Fusion World is like damn near perfect in my opinion. I think there's like only 2 things that should be different in Fusion World. Other than that, I think it's perfect. And I've had, I think just today is Tuesday. Just today, I've had 5 people message me from their old Masters players, and they all said the same thing. Oh, the game got too crazy. One guy's like, I quit because of a Gex. One guy's like, I quit because of 21. One guy's like, I quit because of Cell Surge back in like set 9 or whatever. So all these people, you had a dropout point, and now we're hitting a reset button. And all these people that now they're like, oh, what's a good deck? What do I want to play? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, cool. Now we're back. Well, no, just today I've had 5 people from my past, like old Masters players who want to come back and play. And they're like, yo, what's up with Fusion World? I'm like, hey, game's perfect. Play it. Like,
no, I get you.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. For me personally, I think the part that really got me to think like this is not that fun anymore was the introduction of Z-Decks. You know, it takes having a concept that you could put 7 cards, whatever you want in there, as long as they're Z cards, and then just being able to grab them at any point in time. There's no RNG. There's no like luck of it. It's just, oh, I'm out of cards in hand to play. Whoop, lucky I got my Z deck here that I can just pull something out my butt and completely reverse the game.
I love the Z mechanic. I have to disagree that, but first of all, I respect your opinion because you know, every opinion is valid because there are things that I don't like that some people might like. The thing the thing that got me to actually quit Masters for real was Android 21. Just the what is it, set 20 or set 21? I don't remember what it came out of, but that shit made me quit because literally like every game I played was floodgate, 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 and then drop 21 secret rare. And of course, like I don't know if it's the best deck. I'm not really well versed in Masters, but it was like, if I don't draw my counter to your floodgate, you just get to stall the game, and you have pretty much, this is as close to an auto win secret rare as we've ever had. Like, 21 secret rare is very close to an auto win. I know I sound like a scrub right now. It's fine. I really don't care. But it's like, what is the counter play to this card that exists? And now, like, people found a way that you can search it from the deck thanks to Android 20. You can arrival that shit off of Android 17 arrival. So you can actually play it on my turn as well. It's like, I just quit the game because of Android 21. And like, maybe when they ban it, I'll start to look at Masters again. But like, I would just, as long as that deck exists, I have no interest in playing the game.
No, I get it. To be honest with you, I think I agree. Android 21 is an absolute menace, but for a different reason. Because what's the point of playing blue decks if you know for a fact you're going to be playing into Android 21, which all you're doing is just helping them win. If you play blue and you're playing into Android 21, it's almost an auto lose because all you're doing is giving them resources. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like
I'll expand on this a little bit. Like, so I agree with everything you're saying about 21. Regardless if it's the best deck, like there just has to be concepts that make games healthy and fun that Android 21 crossed. Like the reason SS4, the first Zenkai red deck with Gogeta, right? It went against the taboo of like comboing in rest mode. They could just do it. And it was like amazing. Like they got value out of literally everything they played. And at that point, right in that meta, it was red was literally Sin and Gogeta. Why play anything else? And then 21 comes out, and it's not only like a really good, if not the best blue deck, so why play anything else? Its concept of the archetype made it so literally you can't play anything else, right? Yeah. And then we got yellow U7 now, and like there are still some good yellow decks, but have you seen and read the U7 cards? Oh, why would you play anything else besides yellow U7? A deck that not only can kill you through normal means, can also burn you into a billion different things that are usually pretty hard to do in other archetypes. They've banned other archetypes because of the things that U7 does, like for one energy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, they've made it so unfun. And so like the meta, it can look kind of wide depending on which regional kind of tops and stuff you look at. Red's in a really good spot now. There's like a lot of good red decks. Jiren, Pan, Future Gohan, red androids, legitimately, depending if you're a good pilot or not, all can be very good and do well. Which is weird because red was so overpowered before. But then you literally have green is Green Gohan, even if that's not the best deck in the world, still the best green deck. You have U7 and you have Android 21. So like of those four colors, one is healthy and three are definitely not healthy. So I completely understand. Because like Dane, Giancarlo, you know Dane, he's obsessed with Masters. He'll play it every second of every day. He wants to talk about it with everybody. He can't get enough of Masters. I have never seen him so lethargic and not caring about a Nationals. He was pissed he had to play Android 21. Through all our testing and stuff, this past month or so, he was just bummed. He's just like, I just have to play this deck. It's just the best one. He normally can't shut up about it. And you just have never seen him in such a worse place. And then I'm not saying he's like quitting Masters by any means, but like he went from probably not playing Fusion World to like, we're going to split a case together. Like, it's, and these things are changing and happening.
And Dane I got to give a shout out to Dane. Congratulations on your top. But also, first of all, I would never say this to his face. He's one of my favorite players of all time because he's one of the most creative players and the creative deck builders. If you look at his list, they're very creative. He back when I actually played, he would message me, "Hey bro, look at this Halo Coup deck. Look at all the cool shit I can do. Look at this Cell deck. Look at all the cool combos." And me, like, I've never been a deck builder, so I'm always like, wow, I would have just never thought of this. This is crazy. And so like for you to be like, oh yeah, Dane doesn't really want to test. He doesn't really want to play. The format is stale. He's not thinking of anything creative. I know that's like, yeah, that's when Dane doesn't like the format, there's a big problem for sure.
Mm-hmm. And that is sad. I think the absolute lowest moment though was when I drove an hour away for the Set 23 pre-release or special release event. You know, is the only place that was going to have this event. I get there and I get told, "Oh, we canceled the event this morning because no one signed up for it besides like you and one other person." And I'm like, huh.
Yeah, and that's tough. Like you're in Iowa still, which like even when I was still in Iowa before moving up to Minnesota, like it wasn't that great of a scene. It was still a scene, but it was like 8 people, right? And then like now it really sounds like I feel so bad because I know how much you love Masters, but it's just not happening in Iowa. And I really hope Fusion World pops off in Iowa because you guys have plenty of One Piece players and guys who play other games where it seems like Fusion World will be a good thing. Like, because let's just be honest, the gate to get into Masters is so convoluted now. It's obviously the reason why they made Fusion World. I don't know how many people who've come into like our local store in the last year and a half, and I've sat down with them, took an hour plus to teach them how to play Masters. I have never seen any of them ever again. I bought sleeves for people because I was like, hey, like this is a good community. Here's sleeves for your new starter deck. Like, come by next Thursday. I've never seen these people before. And like, I can't argue with that. Like, they just literally see the rules and go, I could have an easy life or I could try to play Masters. And they just choose the format.
Yeah, I think when you see the top of the top players, like people way better than, us, right? The top players, when they are like struggling to make the best plays consistently, and when they're even struggling to follow the rules, it's gone too far ultimately. And it's like, I noticed that when my team was testing, these are people like Sublet, who is top damn near every nationals, won multiple regionals, Nick Menard, who has won I think 3 regionals in like a year. I don't know, just really better players than I am. When they're sitting there and like reading cards and they're like looking up rulings and they're messaging, I think they messaged Fashbender 3 times because the rulings were so unclear. And it's just, now what's in my mind, it's really cool because that type of experience is what makes or breaks the tiers of players. Like, they are putting in this much work and they are getting rewarded for it, versus like me, who just shows up and tries to turn my card sideways. There's a very clear difference there that I like to see. But if these are like top players and they're struggling to keep up with the game itself, like the average person just has no choice, because everyone has a job, like realistic, like everyone has a life, they have friends outside of the card game. If I want to go, I joke about it, it's like, if I want to do well at a regional, I can't hang out with my non-card game friends because I have to play test the card game, stuff like that,
Oh yeah, no, I went through almost a month without playing Masters. When Mike was in town for the holidays, we played, and I had to be like, "What does this do again?" Like, I had to. Yeah. It was just, it's too much. But I think we've talked plenty enough about Masters. Pour one out for the homie. It was a good time. It was a great time.
I will say though, last thing I'll say is like, if you are watching or whoever's watching, if you enjoy the game, just keep playing it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Whether it's like I said, it's like, if 100 people enter a tournament, that's 100 people. That's a lot of people to enter a tournament. And we don't think that way because we're looking at these other games. Yu-Gi-Oh has a 3,000 person tournament. It doesn't matter. If you like the game and you enjoy playing it, just roll till the wheels fall off, bro. It doesn't matter. Until Bandai says we're no longer putting this game and you're having fun, keep playing. And then once Bandai really does cancel the game, buy all the old cards and explore the older formats, because there are some insanely good Masters formats in the past that you can play. So just do whatever makes you happy. Do whatever's fun. If you don't like Fusion World and you don't like One Piece, don't go play. Like, it does, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I still have a bunch of Masters decks that I will keep sleeved for those times to play it. But this is the game that I put the most amount of effort into, and it's been a great time. I met a lot of great people in my local scene, so I'm happy to have been a part of it. But I am also very excited for the future now with Fusion World. I'll admit I was not skeptical when it I was skeptical when it first was announced, and I was pissed. But after some time, some thinking about it, like it makes sense. This is the proper thing to do going forward. The game is really fun. Yeah, the game is fun. It's a simple concept. There are some issues I have with certain deck themes and archetypes, but for the most part, I think this is a great set 1 meta to start with. It's but yeah, let's talk about the Fusion World experience at Battle Hour. I saw those pictures. Like, it was insane the amount of people waiting in line to buy starter decks early. But no, tell us about that.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, it was a pleasant surprise. We had people who, obviously, so there's all Bandai, like we were in Hall A basically, and the other Bandai Hall were in Hall B, or vice versa, whatever. We were in 2 separate halls. And so for us, it was just Dragon Ball stuff. Dragon Ball Battle Hour is like Dragon Ball Super Card Game, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and Dragon Ball Legends. And they had Dokkan Battle. Bro, they had PS2s with Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And I played I only had time to play a couple games, but it was very nostalgic because Sparking Zero is coming out soon.
Yes.
And we're going to play, I'm going to buy it. It's going to be awesome, I hope. So the line was terrible. Like, this is going to sound really negative. I don't care, bro. Like, something needs to be done. I don't know. people like to blame Bandai. People like to blame Play TCG. Some people want to blame the judges. Some people want to blame the actual California Convention Center. That shit was terrible for everybody. And I will say I was so seriously, everyone dropped the ball except the judges. The judge staff, like Fashbender, Cam, Charles Hoffman was there, Thomas Lippman was there, Jason Neal was there. If there was another judge not there, I'm sorry, I didn't remember. Oh yeah, Jerry Dobbs. But like the only reason Masters went damn near perfectly is because of the work of the judges. Bandai, Play TCG, and whoever else absolutely dropped the ball and delivered some of the worst tournament experiences you could have possibly delivered for a national level event. I know a ton of One Piece players who were so dissatisfied that they sold their collections. I know 3 guys so far. 3 guys who were so angry that they said we're dropping from One Piece and going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Because this was one of the worst run events I've ever seen. And the only reason Dragon Ball wins so well was because of our judge staff. And I have to give a huge shout out to them. The only reason that it went well was no thanks to anybody else except for the judges. So it was a terrible experience for everybody. I showed up like at 8 a.m. The tournament doesn't start till noon. I show up at 8 a.m. I wait in line, and the thing is, like, I think when people complain about cutters, it's because they don't like to confront people. I'm not a tough guy, but I'm not afraid. You're not going to cut me in line. If you're going to try to get in front of me, I'm going to prevent you from doing that. I want to play in this tournament. This is for day 2 Fusion World. The line was around the block at like 9:30 a.m. So I showed up as early as I possibly could. And then within an hour, the line was literally extended out of the building. And, you know, whoever's complaining about cutters, I understand. Whoever's in charge of the line should have done better. Maybe they give out tickets. Maybe they do wristbands. I don't know. But that whole thing was organized terribly. Whoever was in charge of that, they really dropped the ball. But the people who ran the actual tournament, which was, I think, Cam, Jerry Dobbs, and I think Hoffman was there. It was only because of the judges that everything went so well. I work with PPG a lot. I've never once been to a bad PPG event. I really wish Bandai would just make PPG the head honcho, because I've never once been to a bad PPG event. This is like the 5th or 6th Play TCG event or whatever that's just been terrible. So I'm not the only person who feels this way. You know, it's tough.
Oh no, I agree.
I'm not even trying to be a jerk. Like, there were 3,500 players, several thousand visitors, and hundreds of staff. Like, this was a fucking insane endeavor to try to produce, but there were all these problems that happened because they tried to make it so big and crazy. And it ended up like I talked to hundreds of people from Digimon, One Piece. I'm not exaggerating. If you guys see me at a regional, I walk around. I'm very extroverted. I walk around. I talk to a lot of people. I talked to hundreds of people, and almost every single one of them had multiple complaints about the way things were run. It was bad.
Oh, you know, I saw constant complaints on Facebook, and it honestly sounded like the worst, you know, big event, handling as possible. Like, I cannot believe that was allowed to happen. With this being, you know, the first One Piece Nationals, this being, you know, so possibly the last Masters Nationals, but I'm glad Masters went through smoothly. But yeah, like, especially when you have Fusion World being the hot new game on the block, you have product coming out in about a month, and this is an opportunity for people to get product early, people to get these cards in their hands and get super excited, bring it home, show their friends, show other players. You know, that's an amazing opportunity. And for them to just basically just shit on it for the most part, like not take the proper steps to properly handle it. Like you said, when I saw that line, I immediately, this is just a me personal thing, but I immediately thought, oh, a large portion of these people don't care about the product itself. They just want to get the product early, and they want to sell it as soon as possible, before they even leave the convention. I saw a ton of listings online for got these, selling them for like $100 each, or, you know, $50 each, trying to profit off of the hype for this game. And that just sucks that people that like yourself, and I know plenty of others there that wanted to get the actual product in their hands because they're excited about the game, had to deal with people that could give two shits about this, and they just want to get the product and immediately sell it as quick as they can.
I think it's a good thing that the line is long, in my opinion, because that means that there's exciting. The problem is that we knew the tournament was limited to 256. So the problem is that like none of the organizers were controlling people well. None of them were preventing people from cutting. It was crazy. Like, I think I was like in the first 20 people to sign up, and like it was a crazy hotspot. It went from 2 lines to basically like 4 lines because so many people were cutting and trying to push to the forward. It ended up being 4 lines, and it was like, it's so disorganized. It's crazy. And to prevent that, I think you need to give out some type of ticket, some type of wristband, some type of hand stamp. That way, if you cut in line and you don't have that, go to the back. And it just, I don't care if you want to buy a starter deck and sell it. Good for you. I don't care. But it sucks that this is a problem with One Piece, is that people who want to play are not getting to play. And that's the biggest problem for community building. So if we lost 10 players because they didn't, if we lost a player because they stood in the line and they didn't get into the tournament, and now they just say, okay, screw it, I'm not going to try Fusion World. It's a player we lost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Dragon Ball can't afford to lose too many more people. Even
No.
with the new game, I really hope that Fusion World has a really strong start, because maybe I'm just being a little pessimistic, but Dragon Ball just doesn't have players to lose. So like, you can't have poorly run events. You cannot have, if the first Fusion World Regional is poorly run, that is it. It cannot be. It has to be damn near perfect if to attract the new players.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I do think, regardless of all the stuff that the bad things that did happen, it seemed like the hype is there. People are excited to get their hands on this product. I mean, Mike just got the Broly deck, like he said, and he sent us pictures, and those look so good in actually having them in your hand.
I
I
just gave mine away because I already pre-ordered all the starter decks. I pre-ordered a case and a half and 2 of each starter deck from my locals. I'm going all in on battle and on Fusion World. So I just gave mine away. I was like, "Oh, you get a starter deck? No, here, you get a starter." I kept the code cards though.
Oh yeah,
digital comes out. I kept the code cards.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Like that's why you're one of the greats in this community.
Yeah.
But hey, I really want to get to your experience in the starter deck tournament. Now, this isn't like what the meta is going to be, but it's like a fun way to jumpstart and all this stuff. So like, can we let's get into like your experience? Obviously, you did well. You had 3rd place. Just in general, before we start getting too specific, like your experience playing in the tournament, your opponents, how things kind of went, maybe some moments that like you were worried about, moments where you were super confident, just like any and all thoughts just from the first experience, whether it's a starter tournament or not.
I think it's great. I think the starter decks are okay. So the clear favorite is the yellow Frieza. Yes. Top 8. And I tried to count. There's one mystery deck that I don't know. So there were 2 blue Vegetas, 5 yellow Frieza, and 1 mystery deck that I don't know. I'm gonna assume it was a Frieza. So it's pretty clear that yellow Frieza was the best one. I played 7 yellow. It was 8 rounds. I played yellow Friezas in a row, and then my last round was a blue Vegeta, and I was very happy because unlike Masters, I actually play tested for starter deck format. I actually took the time. I played about 30 games, most of which were yellow Frieza mirror matches. And because of that, I had a huge advantage over, there were a lot of people who were like, "Oh, this is my first game." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, "Okay, cool. So, let me try to help you. Let me do this." There were multiple times where my opponents would just pass the turn, and I would sit there and I would say, "Oh, would you like to use your leader ability?" And they go, "Oh yeah, thanks." And they untap their 2 dudes. And I'm like, so just everyone's learning. I'm sweaty. I'm a nerd. I want to do good. So I still want to win, but like, it's a new tournament with new players. We had Lorcana players. This guy's like, "I've never played a Bandai game before. I play Lorcana. I came here to play Fusion World." Awesome. We had a ton of One Piece players. I played a guy who played Battle Spirits. I played a Digimon player. I played a couple Masters players, of course. And it was great. Anytime there's a new card game, there's like an influx of interest, but it was just really nice to see, oh, this guy's from Lorcana. He's never played a a Bandai game in his entire life, but he really loves Dragon Ball Z, and he was too intimidated to get into Masters, so now he's going to get into Fusion World. Perfect.
That's awesome.
And there was, I mean, like I said, I was being real sweaty, so like I would say it was like pretty. It wasn't very difficult, but again, it's just starter deck format. The guy I lost to, David Fujima, he's the guy who won. Shout out to him. He's like an OG master player. He's been top of regionals since, I'm pretty sure, set 1. And so it was good to see him. You know, he even made a Facebook post. You know, it was like, he said something like an old dog can learn new tricks or something, which is funny because he's like an OG Dragon Ball player. I know he's top One Piece regionals. You know, he's just a great card game player. So watching him play was like, yeah, this dude, he knows it. He's about this, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. No, like it's crazy how different a starter deck format can be from the first set, you know, when it actually releases, once you get all your hands on the new cards. That's how it was with One Piece. I actually won I believe it is the first super pre-release in Iowa for One Piece. It came down to me playing Blue Crocodile and the only other person that picked Blue Crocodile at the locals. Everyone else was playing red and green, some purples, only 2 blues, and those are the 2 that I made it at the end. But then like immediately after set 1 released, blue went from like the best color and format to one of the worst until late set 1. And that's the same thing that's going to happen with, or at least what I can imagine is what's going to happen with Fusion World. Star deck format, absolutely. Frieza is the GOAT. He's the king. Once that happens, though, once that set 1 releases, we've gone over all the cards. We've seen all the cards. We've tested everything, and it is kind of crazy how yellow in general didn't seem to get as many, what I would say, generically good cards, like the other colors did.
The yellow color is so heavily centralized around the leader that all of the cards are. Like you said, I don't want to say they're bad, but they're not as generically good. Like a card like SR 40K Frieza is such like a troll card because it's like you could only possibly play this in this yellow deck, and any deck down the line that isn't Golden Frieza or Cooler would never play this card unless they like design similar mechanics. You know what I mean? It's very troll. Whereas like take 6-drop Green Gohan, for example. Every single green deck that ever exists is going to play this for the next 2 years, right? Like there's no chance that this card gets power crept in anytime soon. So it's so troll, that they did that.
And it is crazy looking at each of the colors and their leaders. Yellow is very, very heavily reliant on the leader, like you said. Ginyu requires like the Ginyu Force archetype, so you don't have a lot of room for generic good yellow cards. Cooler and Frieza are similar, but just being able to, with Frieza being untap 2 cards for free, while Cooler you have to pay a cost to untap something is, I'm not saying Cooler's bad, but like when you look at the 2 of them, one's obviously way better.
Is that one in a game where like resource is already going to be pretty low because it's set 1, right? Every card that draws is amazing, what have you. But like, so Cooler doesn't draw in the front, obviously, because they have the crit concept. But then like you have to lose a card to restand a card, which I mean, in terms of like trade value, you're losing a card to restand one, which is as if you're playing another card to attack or whatever. But Cooler's also 4 or less only, and it is Frieza Clan, not Frieza's army, not even Cooler's Armored Squadron. It is specifically Frieza Clan, so that limits the card pool. The cost limit limits that even further, and you have the resource loss. So it can do some cool things, but Frieza literally just says restand yellow battle card. End sentence. There's nothing there. You can just, it's as generic as it gets. The Cooler Armored Squadron stuff needed to be so good in a set for Cooler to like find its own niche, right? To compete next to Frieza, but it didn't. Like they're fine, but they're very much just on par with everything else that also isn't getting put in Frieza because the starter deck cards were already as good as they were. So that's really tough. I was excited about Cooler, but yeah, it was weird. Yellow inset cards, very meh. Like the SRs are cool and stuff, but like that starter deck was filled to the brim with good cards.
It was like they got, the starter deck was so good that they just didn't give them that much good stuff after the starter deck. Now, my hot take, Yellow Frieza is my favorite deck in set 1. It's not the best deck, but it is my number 1 favorite deck in set 1. And I'm going to try my damned hardest to top a regional with Frieza. You know, like I very much enjoy the way Yellow Frieza plays. It's just really cool. I like to grind games. I like value. I like to generate advantage, and that deck is so good at doing that. But then sometimes your opponent plays like 8-drop Broly, and all your value just throws out the window because that card is just crazy. So
yeah, I don't know why they did it with yellow, but they really hamstrung the deck, or the color in general, without removal, right? 5 big drop Frieza from starter deck is, it freezes the card, cool, but that's like a temporary removal, right?
Yeah.
And then Golden Death Beam is 3 or less only in rest mode. Like, it needed something that popped anything in rest mode, because it's still not as good as green's removal that pops anything regardless of position, right? And then you have blue, which is 5 or less with Final Flash, or 4 or less, 3 or less with the Trunks Leader ability, no matter what the position is. So yellow's hamstrung not only by level, like high enough cost removal, but it also has to be in rest mode. And as you've seen in such a set 1 meta, that like people aren't necessarily swinging, turning stuff right all the time, because there's tempo plays and stuff like that where you don't want to give your opponent, you know, somewhere else to swing besides your leader, which then further hamstrings yellow. So I agree with you. I think Yellow Frieza is super cool. It's going to be one of the better decks, but like, it was weird how much they just gave it good, and then they said you're just kind of done, and then everything else is just whatever.
And I think the color green, the green starter deck, I think for the most part is pretty amazing on its own. It comes with a lot of cards you're going to see. Well, okay, it comes with a lot of cards that are going to be staples in green for a while. And you have, and then, so take all those cards into account. Then you have the cards they added in for green in set 1, and just the amount of things green can do as a color, it just seems kind of crazy. Green has ramp, green has the best board removal, and it even has slight life manipulation when it comes to, you know, the Gohan that can ramp a life. Now you can compare that to other colors. You know, blue has decent removal. It can remove anything 5 or below, but it folds into almost anything else, you know, above that. It recurs. It's the color of recursion, 100%. Red can do some great board removal of its own because it has the minusing. It has the ability to lower stuff down to 0, which we did confirm. You know, it does remove it from the board. It's not KO'd, still removed. It also has crit, which is an amazing skill, especially if you build a wide board of it. And then yellow, which is just the ability to tap things down, restand your, control your board. But like, green does the most things, and it does them the best. If at least that's how I've seen things, and what me and Mike have tested too.
Yeah, so this is something I was thinking about green. Like, of course, like, first off, it's pushed to hell for some reason, right? But like, the cards cost more on average, right, per every other color, right? Because they ramp. So like, if there's, you know, 5 cost boss monsters are kind of the thing around every color but green, and then they make androids, which is a 6 cost, but it's 5k more, right? And it also removes 2 bodies, 3 or less, in a color that ramps multiple times throughout a game, right? So like, if green only ramped once, I get that making their boss monsters cost 1 more, but this color can ramp 2, maybe even 3 times depending on what deck you're playing. So a 6 cost, when you try to like, you know, find equity there, a 6 cost in green could even be like a 4 cost in any other color, right? Because by the time I'm slamming 6-drop androids, I probably have like 8 energy, maybe even 9, depending on like how late the game goes. And all of a sudden, I'm playing this extremely strong card that has double, strong as hell. It gets out of at least 1 super combo without getting out of the attack, right? And removes 2 bodies, which means blockers. 3 costs are strong in this game. It does all these things. And I still have multiple energy up for Gigantic Meteor, Sibling Combination, the cards that are like 1 cost 20 plus and up, like they're super strong for some reason. It's just incredible. So like, they tried to tune green correctly by costing the cards more. But if you really think about it, they're almost costed less, or if not the same, based on how many times you ramp, which then you're like, why do they even do this? You know, like, I mean, I see what they're doing, but I think they kind of failed at really trying to balance the color with the other ones.
Yeah, and let's take it one step further again. So I agree with what you said. The cards are supposed to cost more because you have ramp, and what most ramp cards do. So if you look at Destructive Strength, which is the green extra card from the starter deck, and you look at Dr. Giro's Laboratory, you have to take an entire turn off to ramp, and then they do nothing else. At least for Lab, it's the turn you played it costs 3, and then 1 more. Destructive Strength costs 3. In my opinion, the card that actually pushed green was 4-drop Vegeta SR. Now, it's on play. It's a 4 cost. It has 10k combo first. Let's start there. So 10ks are kind of rare in green. It has 10k combo, which is nice. It is a 4 cost with 20k power. On play, put a 3 cost or higher from your drop into your energy rested, and then once per turn, discard a card to pop a 2 or less. Now, what that does is it lets you play a body, and that body then ramps for you instead of taking your entire turn off. It's activate once per turn, discard to kill something, which is taking pressure off of your leader. If you're playing against aggro, you play Vegeta, you get to immediately take pressure off your leader by killing something. And then you can either attack you can attack another battle card, or you can attack your opponent's leader if you want. You do whatever you want with it. You can not attack at all, whatever. But that card alone, like, I didn't think green was the best deck at first. And because I was like, well, it's really good. You get to ramp to these powerful cards like your 6 drops. And then they revealed Vegeta, and we play tested with Vegeta, and I was like, oh, okay, this is the card that makes green the best, because going second now, I get to 6 energy on turn 4, which means my 6 drops are 4 drops, which means I get to gain a life on turn 4 and have a 35k body, or I get to play androids, bottom deck 2 3 drops, and get a 40k double striker on turn 4. That's crazy. And what bridges you to do that is Vegeta, which gives you a body and immediately clears one of your opponent's battle cards that you are going to out combo anyway. So it's not even a neg to destroy it, because if they go swing my 20k into your 20k leader, I have to discard a card to protect my life. Well, I'd rather just discard that card to destroy your card. So it's not even a neg to do. It's literally a 1-for-1. Yeah. It's crazy. That card is nuts.
Sorry, in a set 1 meta, like, trying to figure out momentum and stuff like that, which a lot of the times, if your opponent is swinging cards, depending on where you're standing going first or second, you're swinging back into their cards to clear their board and stuff like that. So, like, just naturally with where the game is starting, Vegeta is either going to gain you value by staying on the board if they choose not to swing into it, but most people are going to swing into it anyway. So it also just, like, defends a life, or at least one swing, right? So if you just look at it that way, that card brings a lot of value. Like, any card that on play does something, or like if it's on turn after turn creates value, it does have to force your opponent to sink their resources or an attack at least into it. So if you further kind of look at it that way, it only adds one more thing that this incredible card does that already does 3 different things.
Yeah.
Right. Which is just incredible. And I love that shit. I mean, I love the simplicity of this, but like how many things just get better and better the more you kind of think about it.
I think also, it's a joke, but I think it was an apology to Masters players, because green is like almost never been good in Masters, right? Like it's never won, like, I don't even know how many regionals green has won. If you count Cell Surge, it's at least a couple, but like I think it's won less than 6 regionals, because green has almost never been good.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, here you go. Oh, sorry, Masters players, here you go. Here's your green decks. Like, we want green to be good this time, you know?
We don't want people thinking we don't like the color green, so we'll just give you literally everything. It's nutty. Like, especially on top of that, you have, the Secret Rare, which board wipes everything 5 cost or less, and then producing Mikey, it's a 50k body, right?
The Secret Rare for green is a 50k body for 7. Yep.
50k body for 7. So you and I have played games where you've gotten as high as 11 energy, which at that point you have the ability to swing down the Broly, which is the only card in the game that KOs anything, that draws, swings twice for 45, and then you still have 3 energy to play more defensive cards like Gigantic Meteor and other defensive pieces, blockers, whatever case you may need. And it's just no one controls the board better in this game right now than green. Green has the best.
One of the best end games too.
Oh, like, God, yeah.
To cut you off there, but like, so you play Big Broly, right? And Big Broly playing the first one doesn't necessarily mean you win the game, but it does shift momentum quite a bit. If that Broly survives a turn, you are dead, because probably when they play it, you're at 1 energy, 2 energy. And then it's incredible how you can swing a card and then go, here's 2 energy plus 50 with 2 Gigantic Meteors if you're playing correctly. Like, you have kind of like, I think, Giancarlo, you said that in your post, that green can just like swing for infinite because of the cards that it has at its disposal, right? You already swing a big ass card, 40 or 45, and you go 2 energy, okay, 90. and you haven't pitched any actual comboable card yet. You're at 90, right? And your opponent's just like, what? Like, because there's no counters, right? Coming from Masters, it's incredible when you're like, oh, he's got an energy up, he might counter this, and then you have to break that mold and go, oh my god, he can't do anything about what I'm about to do to him, and then you flog him to death. Like, it's absolutely incredible. And then of course,
even Gohan leader is 35k for free. Like, you have to pop an energy, but I don't discard any cards in hand to start at 35k base. And if I have 5-drop Goku, then it's extra free. But anyway, it's like I've won plenty of games by being like, okay, Gohan, swing, meteor, instant Kamehameha, pop leader effect, combo. It's infinite. It doesn't matter. Like, I've literally won through 4 super combos before because meteor is more than a super combo, so it just doesn't matter. And then all three green leaders also attack at a higher threshold than every other leader. Like, androids attack for 30, Gohan attacks for 35, Broly attacks for 25 or 30. Like, every green leader attacks at a higher threshold than the base of 20, which is what every other leader attacks at. It's that alone is generating. That's one thing we didn't touch on yet, was it's the fact that my leader is always bigger than your leader, unless you're also a green deck. You know what I mean? Like, then our leaders are somewhat even, you know?
Green feels like it has the highest offense, the best defense, and the best board control. When you combine all three of those together, you know, it's kind of hard to, you know, make an argument that green's not going to be the best color in format. Well, at least for now.
Well, I think when you say highest, I mean, like, we call it Zoroku because it has the same effect as Zoro from One Piece set 1. The red U7 Goku, even Frieza, Ginyu, like, they are aggro deck. Like, that's what I was saying about Vegeta, because before Vegeta was revealed, we were playing aggro decks and we were like, these decks can get under green because, again, you have to pass your entire turn, which just lets me turn my card sideways twice. Right. But then now with Vegeta, it's like, okay, you get to ramp and decrease my board state, so you get a 2-for-1 value on that type of thing. So it's tough. I think, like, we're hyped, but at the same time, I think someone out there is going to be a little evil genius, and they're going to build some type of deck, whether it's yellow or red. I don't think it'll be blue, but if it's yellow or red, I think someone's going to enter a tournament and do really well with one of these decks, because they're going to have the anti-green strategy, and they're going to play a bunch of green players who aren't prepared, and they're going to clap. So I think that also is going to happen.
I can see.
I tried the most hyper aggro red deck I could find, and I mean, I was taking some games off green. Again, it's just so hard to kill through meteor, because I'm attacking for whatever, and they go, okay, leader ability pop meteor. My leader 35 plus 25 is what, 60? Like, my leader is 60k, and I only discarded 1 card. It's so hard to attack through meteor.
Oh boy. You know what? This video's gone on a little longer than I was planning, but like, this has been a fantastic conversation. Love having Giancarlo on the show. And before we round it up, let's just, you know, what would something you would say to people that are thinking about getting into thinking about getting into Fusion World, that are a little bit nervous about it? Like, what's your way of, like, getting them tempted to give this game a shot?
Interesting. Oh yeah. Well, it's a new game, so just come in to have fun and do your best. I mean, at the end of the day, it's you know, it's just a game, and it's a new game too, so there's going to be a ton of new players. A lot of from what I've seen, a lot of older master players are just doing their best to help newer players, because we have years of experience, and we're more than willing to share that. You know, if you have any questions, just post on Facebook. You can message me directly. I don't care. I might be a little busy, might not get back to you directly, but, you know, I'm going to do my best to help new players, because I want to grow the community. I want to grow my local scene. I want to grow the national scene. I want people to play the game, and you know, because we all love Dragon Ball. So yeah, just if you'd be intimidated, that's one thing, but, you know, just try your best, go into a tournament, make friends, and have fun. That's why we all play card games at the end of the day. Like, for me, it's like nationally, it's whether it's a regional or national, it's a social event, and I also play cards at the event. You know, that's really how it is for me, at least. I don't know about everybody else, but there's nothing better than, I told my wife, if you ever watch Cheers, the theme song is like, you want to go to a place where everybody knows your name. You walk into a regional, I'm friends with this guy, I'm friends with this guy, I'm friends with this guy, I know 20 people who they live all across the country, and they're all the boys, you know, they're all homies with me. So it's like, wow, I just get to be with all my friends. So it doesn't matter whether it's locals, nationals, regionals, it doesn't matter. Just play, have fun, make new friends, see new people, see new places, just enjoy some stuff, you know?
Exactly. I love that. That is fantastic. Well, hey man, once again, thank you so much for hopping on the show with us. It's always a pleasure to have you. I definitely want to do more of these type of videos going forward, you know, bring some more people in. Maybe we'll try to get a fourth person to fill that spot down there and have a good like roundtable conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Can I do one shout out before we go?
Oh, no, absolutely, man.
If you're in North Carolina, check out Airfair Gaming. It's owned by Trade Faircloth.
Oh,
They're doing a double case tournament. I already have my plane ticket booked. I already got my hotel booked. Let me pull up so I can give you the most correct information. It's March 2nd, 2024, which is this year. So March 2nd, just a couple months away. Double case tournament, a couple weeks after release. I'm going to be there. I already got my plane ticket booked and all that. I'm really excited. So if you're in the area, just stop by and say hi. I'll probably have some extra decks. So if you don't have a deck, you can borrow one of mine. And just come on by. If you have any questions about it, you can message me directly, message Trey Faircloth directly.
Awesome.
Shout out.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much once again for checking out this roundtable discussion. Thank you so much once again for the recent support. We are finally over 700 subs. We're on our way now to 800. Let's see if we can reach that number by the end of February. But once again, guys, this is Giancarlo here. My co-host Michael down there at the bottom. And you know me. And we'll see you on the next video, guys.